Okay, I'm back and I'm going to try to put the first weld in here, the spot to hold with. So, like I said, it's a little on the heavy side, a little awkward. It's going to take some time to get used to. And that's really it. I threw a couple spots in. It's really not too bad. Now, what we're going to do is walk the vice grips over a little bit to keep the panel on the truck. I'm going to put another one, a few spaces back. Basically, I want to walk around and make sure there's no like shrinkage or gaps in the metal for the time being. Okay, so I got the few welds in. Right now I got to go on the back side. I got to take a wire brush and just wire brush the metal on the inside to get it a little bit cleaner. The welder itself's not making contact enough, so I'm gonna just take a wire brush and clean it off a little bit, and then I'll throw some more welds in there and show you how we're getting. Okay, so I cleaned off the back. I wire brushed the back in metal to make bare metal so the welder would get better contact. And I threw a bunch of spot welds in already. You can see the little round dots from the heat. I will show you, the spot welder in action right now. Basically, I threw a bunch in to hold the panel in place, to get it working, make sure everything was working fine. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep spot welding in between. We're going to do like one here, one there, in between all those welds, all the way across. And basically what you would like to do is get as many weld spots as you possibly can, kind of lined up in a row where it makes like almost a solid bead, a solid line. It just helps keeps the moisture out. It just makes a stronger weld. So I'm going to grab the welder right now and I'll do a few welds so you can actually see it in action how it works. And I grab my gloves. Oh, I don't have the gloves here right now. So I'm just going to throw a couple welds in so you can actually see it in action. Like I say, it's heavy. You got to go around the metal and you put it right to there, to the edge, and you pull the trigger. You can see it heating up. And you don't want to keep it on too long where it burns a hole through, but you just want to see a nice glowing and see it going around. And we're just going to keep going, all the way across and fill in as many as the spots. You don't want to heat the metal up too much. You don't want to just keep going. Do a handful, take a break, which you're going to like anyway because the welder is heavy. I can't stress that enough. This one is heavy, but it works fine. Okay, so got all the welding done. You can see all the little dimples from the welds all the way around the metal. After I welded it, I took the grinder, grinded the metal all clean again, and it is actually ready for body work. I'll sand more of the black primer from the sheet metal patch panel that was on there. I'll scuff it up and sand most of it down. And feather edge, you know, there's some 80 grit. Feather edge, you know, some of the old paint and primer, the factory paint and primer. Back a little bit further, so when I start putting some putty on there, actually what we're going to use, we're not going to use Bondo directly to start with. We use it's an aluminum mixture. It's like Bondo. Two different companies make it. There's All Metal is one of the companies. It's probably one of the better ones. I'm using Bondo's metal filler. It's like an aluminum filler. And what it does is when you put it on, it actually helps seal the weld line, the metal line, to keep any moisture and air out. And you use that as the first coat. It's just like Bondo. You mix it and you use that as the very first coat all around the seam. And it helps seal it. It's like $24 for a pint. It's a little expensive, but it is well worth it. It helps fill in, like I say, it helps seal the weld line. Keeps the moisture out. And after you put that on there, you let it dry just like Bondo, a half hour or so. And you grind it down, not real far, but just enough where it seals everything. You know, you're not looking for a finished coat on there. And after that dries and you sand it down, grind it down a little bit, then you use Bondo as your top coat to fill in. And actually, this turned out really nice, the welding. You can see the body line on an angle is fairly straight. I mean, it's not going to take much filler, Bondo filler, or aluminum at all to fill this in, to take it. And our next step is, you know, I'm going to sand it all down, and then I will show you the aluminum body putty that we put on there to seal it. That'll be coming up next. Hi. Okay, we're ready to put the first coat, the metal reinforced filler on it I was speaking about earlier. It's made by Bondo, the same company that makes Bondo. What this is, you mix it the same way as you would Bondo. What it is it's aluminum enforced. It's got like a aluminum in there. It's green color, and it's made by Bondo. And we're going to take a little bit out, and it's better to work in small amounts than large, because the life isn't mixed life isn't like very long in there, so it'll start to dry up just like Bondo does. So what you do, you take a little bit out like that. You get your putty knife, you know, your plastic spatula to put it on. And this actually is the hardener for it. It's a liquid hardener. For something like that, you put about 10 drops, 10 to 15 drops on there. You have about, I want to say, if you use about 15 drops, you have about 10 minutes working time to put it on. So that's why I say you want to do little amounts. And we're not building it up to do a finish coat. We're just putting a light coat all the way around the weld mark of the patch panel. This is going to be the first coat. We're going to sand and grind a lot of it off after it dries. We just want this to seal out the air and the moisture and that for our Bondo coat. So I'm going to take it and set it up by the truck.